It blew apart magic from that world, which swallows magic from this one. One who used a forbidden spell of the highest order, and another who absorbed his magic. In other words, they've been affected by that world. The subject of Arcane Stage and the ability to kill devils in Black Clover is hotly debated within the fandom. One of the biggest debates is whether or not Licht and Lumiere were arcane in the Elf Arc. There is plenty of evidence that could support that possibility, but also people put up a lot of counter arguments against it. Neither Licht nor Lumiere were blatantly stated to be Arcane Stage, and Licht used ultimate magic to obliterate Zugred, but could not destroy his heart. That seems to be the two greatest points of evidence as to why they are not arcane, since they couldn't kill him and they were not stated to be Arcane Stage. In fact, the whole debate of Arcane Stage has been going on for a couple of years now. I remember a couple of years ago that a certain community was making fun of me and calling me dumb for saying that Yami was Arcane Stage. They're saying I was dumb because Yami was never blatantly stated by Lolopechka to be arcane. Like, to them, he was just someone who had a regular magic that had the ability to kill devils. Then, of course, a couple of months later, Chapter 239 released, and Dante just blatantly called Yami arcane. So people have been arguing the validity of arcane for many characters for years now. Yami was implied to be arcane. That was contested until it was blatantly stated. Now I could say the same for Licht and Lumiere. But personally, I do believe them to be arcane. That's why I'm making this video. But remember that there is no direct statement of them being arcane in the Elf Arc, as arcane was not a concept brought into the series until 10 plus chapters after Zugred was killed, when Asta, Mimosa, Sekra, and Finral traveled to the Heart Kingdom. That's when they discovered what Arcane Stage was. That's when we as an audience were introduced to that topic. While Licht not being able to destroy Zugred's heart can be seen as evidence that contradicts him being arcane, it is actually still not nearly enough evidence to cover the mountain of proof that shows that him and the first Wizard King can in fact kill devils, and it can also still just be explained away. So what I am going to do for you is go over all the information that we have on what Arcane Stage is, what it does, and how one can become Arcane Stage. We will also look over each of the Arcane Stage mages to get a gauge of what we can decipher from them. Earlier, I said in a fight with a devil, no one who was lower than Stage 1 would be able to keep up. However, even a Stage 0 mage can't kill a devil. Spirit Guardians are able to use formidable spells by borrowing the power of natural mana, but even then, they cannot defeat a devil. Unlike us, in exchange for giving up the divine protection of natural mana, the Clover Kingdom has created types of magic that are not natural, such as chain and steel, and the eccentric spatial magic. Some of the irregulars who were born in that environment had the potential to defeat a devil. The Wizard King, Julius Novachrono, and his time magic, for example, or Yami Sukahiro, the captain of the Black Bulls, and his dark magic. Although, unfortunately, Julius seems to have lost the better part of his magic. In terms of combat power alone, Nerva is only Stage 6 or so, but she has ancient sealing magic and has used forbidden magic. Asta has no magic, but as a result, he had managed to acquire anti-magic. People with inexplicable powers such as yours are known as Arcane Stage. So what does this mean? Well, what this statement from Lolopechka implies that no matter how strong you are, you cannot kill a devil if you're not Arcane Stage. Now, this is not an entirely correct statement anymore, with the introduction of Saint Stage, and with the Dryad implying that ultimate magic can kill devils mid-level and above as well. And furthermore, we know that as long as you're stronger than a low-ranked devil, you can kill them as well without being Arcane, Saint, or ultimate magic. Just be stronger than them. But the greater context of what this means is actually derived from both Sekra and Asta's explanation. That because Sekra used forbidden magic, she's arcane. Because Asta had no magic and is thus using a devil's power, he's arcane. Now what this should mean is that any devil user would be arcane, and anyone who's been severely affected by forbidden magic would also become arcane, which harkens back to the opening statement of this video. It blew apart the magic from that world, which swallows magic from this one. One who used a forbidden spell of the highest order, and another who absorbed his magic. In other words, they've been affected by that world. Both Licht and Lumiere were severely affected by forbidden magic, magic of the underworld. Licht turned himself into an ancient demon. Lumiere absorbed that power of the ancient demon with the swallow tail. Thus, they can affect Zugred and his magic. So by Lolo's description of how one becomes Arcane Stage, Licht and Lumiere very likely could be arcane based on that alone, of the fact that they were actually severely affected by forbidden magic. But when you have that Zugred is using this as the explanation for how they can counter his magic, is what really makes him arcane. Now to further take apart Zugred's statement, he says it blew apart the magic from that world, which swallows magic from this one. Yet it does not swallow Licht or Lumiere's magic, nor does it swallow anti-magic or Yami's dark magic. This would imply that their magic is not from the regular human world, but it is from the other world, the underworld. And as I've already said, this is because Yami's arcane, Asta using devil power, and Licht and Lumiere had their magic severely affected by forbidden magic. So the fact that their magic is not from this world anymore further proves that Licht and Lumiere are in fact arcane. I'll come back to Licht and Lumiere to negate the ultimate rebuke against them being arcane. But before I do that, I want to go over every arcane stage mage and to show that why it's very likely that these two powerhouses from the Elf Arc are arcane as well. Asta is arcane stage because he uses devil power. Sekre is arcane stage because she used forbidden magic. Yami is arcane stage because of his dark magic's direct connection to the underworld, where forbidden magic derives from. We don't know enough about Grey's backstory yet to determine anything of how she became arcane, or if she was born that way. Though Vanessa is arcane stage, and she is the daughter of the Witch Queen, who is an expert and uses curse magic. Curses use forbidden magic, which would be the likely explanation for her being arcane. As well as for William, he inherited his mother's curse, so that is likely why he is arcane. As for Julius, we don't know enough about his backstory, but since a time devil exists, and Julius has two magic types, something that devil hosts have, and one of the only few ways you can get two magic types, there's likely a connection there. But still, that means that Asta, Sekre, Yami, William, and Vanessa all have arcane magic because they were affected by forbidden magic. So of these 6 mages that are confirmed to be arcane stage, 4 of them have been severely affected by forbidden magic. One of them, Julius, has very likely been affected by forbidden magic, and then Grey is the unknown. That provides a lot of evidence alone that Licht and Lumiere would be arcane, since they were severely affected by forbidden magic. Now here is the greatest piece of evidence that could possibly debunk this entire video, but I also debunk this own debunk, as it is that Licht used ultimate magic and he still couldn't kill Zagred. It destroyed his body, but not his heart. But this actually does not negate this fact that he is arcane. All it means is that Licht's ultimate magic was not strong enough to kill Zagred. Remember, there is a preponderance of evidence that ultimate magic kills devils. Yet, this ultimate magic did not kill Zagred. Zagred was not even at full power until chapter 209 after Asta activated Black Divider and hit him with it. People kind of overrate the power of Licht and Lumiere, but when you look at it, Asta and Yuno really did carry this fight. Asta and Yuno were not that much weaker than Licht when they fought him, at least after they both broke their limits in that fight. Sure, Licht got stronger when he was unsealed, but so did Asta and Yuno as they broke their limits and got their black form too and spear dive too. And then we have Asta's Black Divider, which is a huge increase in power on top of his black form 2 as well. As when he uses his unrefined Black Divider, it makes him so much faster, he easily breaks Zagred's trident, and he actually one-shots Lumiere to the point that his magic was essentially shut off for a brief moment. That is the unrefined Black Divider. Asta would then refine it and use the true Black Divider, which would make it stronger, and then he would get healed by Sekre, break his limits, and use his greatest Black Divider to finally destroy the heart of the devil. So what this means is that Licht and Lumiere were arcane, just not strong enough to destroy the heart. Asta's Black Divider is stronger than Conquering Aeon. It's just that the heart of the devil is likely its strong point, and Licht was not strong enough to destroy it. Think about it this way. Zagred was subdued by Yami's Dimension/Equinox and Yuno's Safer Wind Blast. Yet it took Asta's greatest Black Divider ever to actually destroy Zagred's heart. If the heart were a weak point, Asta could have just went over there in base form and destroyed the heart. But nope, he needed to break his limits and use his strongest Black Divider. Because we need to remember here that just because someone is arcane stage does not mean they can just defeat a devil. Otherwise, base Asta from chapter 1 would just defeat Lucifero, which we know doesn't make sense. So when we look at it this way, it means that Licht's ultimate magic was just weaker than Zagred, and Asta is stronger. As we just look at the narrative of the fight, how Tabata writes it, he pretty much goes out of his way to show that only the arcane users can go against Zagred's magic. Asta, Yami, Patri with Demon Light, and then Licht and Lumiere are the only ones whose magic works against it. We see Yuno or Patri in their regular forms doing nothing against it, and we see Merliona's magic as well doing nothing against it. Well, Yuno does eventually when he uses Zephyr, but we have to remember that Zephyr is borrowing the power of Licht and Lumiere since he used the dregs of their magic to create it. So only people who are arcane, Asta, Yami, can go against it, and then Patri with Demon Light would be arcane since he's using actual literal demon power. Then Licht and Lumiere can go against it, which would basically just means that Licht and Lumiere are arcane because they've been severely affected by forbidden magic. Even when Yami launches Dimension Slash Equinox and splits open the word devil, he says dark magic can interfere with the other world, which is pretty much what is going on with Licht and Lumiere's magic. The spell is from the other world, and their magic is affecting it. He is saying this because he thought he had cut Yami away from him with his large spell, but Yami used Ki to sense them and his Dimension Slash to cut right through it. So yes, Licht and Lumiere are both arcane in the Elf arc. Like many other arcane stages, they were affected by forbidden magic of the other world. They couldn't kill Zagred, but that's because they were not strong enough. But they could affect his magic and affect him. But remember that only the other arcanes in the battle were doing so. Only Asta and Yami and Patri with Demon Light were able to affect his magic. Then, of course, you know when he used Licht and Lumiere's power. So when we look at it that way, you would have to assume that Licht and Lumiere are in fact arcane. I want to make this video because I got a lot of comments on Licht and Lumiere not being arcane, because I make that statement in my videos all the time. In fact, it's kind of a double whammy. Ultimate magic kills devils, and Licht was arcane, yet he could not kill Zagred. So yep, that's pretty much it for this video. Based on all the evidence we have of what arcane stage is, Licht and Lumiere are certainly arcane. They just were not strong enough to kill Zagred, whereas Asta was. You just have to remember that arcane stage was not introduced as a concept yet, so they did not need to have a statement for them to be arcane, for them to actually still be arcane in the actual series. So let me know your thoughts down below. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...